Hi everyone, it's Claire back again. So it's time for another Pacific Blue comparison video. I have done one of these videos before, but I didn't have quite as many polishes, and I've had some new ones that have come into my collection that I think are quite comparable. And also Hayley sent me a polish. She actually sent me this one here. We'll go through them all shortly. I've put Pacific Blue in the middle with some darker shades and some lighter shades at either side, so that gives you a clue, Hayley. And what I've also done is I've put Pacific Blue here, this is 2 coats, on a single swatch stick so that we can also do some comparisons as we go along. So this one is Bleu Majorelle, and there is something very, very bright about this polish, but I think it is a little bit darker than Pacific Blue. It's similar though. This is definitely a favourite of mine. Yeah, I can tell when I'm painting it on, it is a little bit darker. So that's Bleu Majorelle. I'll put another coat on everything. Put that there. This one here is Endless Blue, and I think this again is a deeper blue, but we'll put it in the comparison because I think there is a kind of sliding scale. There is something about Pacific Blue that's more than just a bright blue. There is that whiteness in there to it, but not the kind of whiteness that makes it dusty. And there's also a little bit of purple in there. Now this one here, Lapis Lazuli, is Catherine's favourite blue. And Jules actually did a comparison on Instagram recently. I don't think this has got any of the purple in it at all, but it is very similar, and it's that bright. So it's another lovely bright mid-toned blue, and you can see the difference there with Endless Blue. Endless Blue is definitely more saturated. Then I'm going to do Barry M Damson next, and this to me is the closest comparison in my mind anyway. It is very similar to Lapis Lazuli, and it's definitely one of my favourite Barry M's. Okay, let's put Pacific Blue in the middle. So this polish was sent to me by Jules, and just one of the highlights of my nail polish hobby career is definitely was getting Pacific Blue. That was a day, let me tell you. So you can see they're all very similar, and to the untrained eye they look pretty much exactly the same. And then we move on to Julie G. This one was sent to me by Debbie, and a lot of people mention this as a close dupe to Pacific Blue, but I think this tips slightly more into the iris blue, in that there's a little bit more purple in this. I love it. I love this shade. In fact, all of these polishes, this is why I don't mind having so many of this shade that are kind of comparable, because they're just a beautiful shade to wear at any time of year. So that's Julie G Cabana Boy. And then here we go, Hales. Here is the little mini from Primark, and has it got a name? Yes, it has got a name there, Cornflower. It is actually a really good representation of a cornflower blue. So this is interesting. So Hayley, you were saying that this takes you 3 coats for full opacity, which I can see that, and maybe it deepens up on a 2nd coat and a 3rd coat. So here's Pacific Blue. Here it is there on the swatch stick. So they're definitely the Primark polish is paler, but we'll see if that builds up. I think, so what I've done is just to show you, Hayley, what I do think this is comparable to is, I think it's very, very close to Illamasqua Cameo, and I also think it's very close to Sinful Colours Blue La La. So let's put those two down as well. This is Cameo. Yeah, it's very similar, but you can see there's a little bit more purple, just a dash more purple in the Primark. And this one is Blue La La. So this is definitely not a Pacific Blue dupe, but it's a bright blue with that whiteness to it. And I do think it's quite similar to Cornflower from Primark. So that's the scale. And which one was Pacific Blue? This one. I had a job then myself trying to figure out which one it was. Okay, I'm going to put a second coat on everything and we can come back and take a closer look and we can use this to compare as we go along. So here we go, here's a second coat on everything, and that's actually pretty good light, although the camera does keep going a little bit wonky, but I've got the swatch stick here as well, so let's go through them. This one here is Bleu Majorelle, the Yves Saint Laurent, and it is darker. It's definitely darker than Pacific Blue, but it's still pretty close. This is Endless Blue, which I think you can see is definitely darker. This next one here is Lapis Lazuli, and it's very similar. If anything, it's a little bit brighter, just a little bit, but it's very, very close. I've just messed that up. It's very close. This one here is Damson. Don't know why I picked it up like I didn't know what it was called. To me, they're perfect dupes. They're very, very close. That's Pacific Blue, so it should be a dupe. This one here is G Cabana Boy, and it's a little bit darker, a little bit of a duskier pink hue to it. And this one here is Cornflower from that Hayley sent me from Primark, and there is quite a difference there. Put them next to each other. Yeah. But it's the Primark is comparable to these two here. So this one is Cameo from Illamasqua, and this one here, which I've completely messed up, is Blue La La from Sinful Colours. So I still think the closest, so this is Pacific Blue, I still think that the closest to, I'd say let's narrow it down to these four here. I still think that Damson is the closest, with Lapis Lazuli being a little bit brighter and Julie G being a little bit more purple. These two actually. But then you compare them with each other, so if you look at Lapis Lazuli and Damson, they're very, very similar. Yeah, Lapis Lazuli is still a little bit brighter. So hopefully you can see those comparisons. Yeah, it's an absolute classic, and it's a shame that they don't make it anymore. For me, it does require two coats. I know a lot of people say that it's one coat for them, but it's two coats on me. Maybe it'll thicken up after time. Jules, thanks again ever so much for sending this to me, and also Hales, thanks for sending me Cornflower for the comparison. I hope that satisfies your curiosity. And yeah, let me know what you think of this shade. I think this is probably one of the most popular colour categories, shades for most people. Definitely one of mine. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you in the next one. Bye.